Sometimes I wonder, in this perverted sexual revolution that we have going on in this world today. And don't get me wrong, sex is wonderful, sex is beautiful, and sex is fine. It's a wonderful experience when it's done in the confines of scriptural law. It's my personal opinion. Anything outside of that, you head off into some very serious perversions. With that said, you got to think here for a second. I want to ask you a question because I'm asking myself these same questions. Okay? A robot, having sex with a robot, it doesn't have a soul. It's an inanimate object. It's not a human being. So can a person commit adultery? Because adultery is defined according to the Bible, and it's always based on the status of the woman. A man having sex with a single woman is not adultery, contrary to popular opinion. A man can only commit adultery if he is laying with another man's wife. And of course the Bible says if we were in our Israelite land and had control, death would be the penalty. Fornication, you won't find it in the Torah. It doesn't talk that language. That's in the Greek translation of the New Testament, or the Gospel and the letters. The Old Testament talks about whoredoms, meaning you're whoring yourself out, you're prostituting yourself out. There's much to be desired and a lot to be learned. It's strange what takes place when you set yourself aside and set yourself apart and you start reading the Bible for what it really truly says, as opposed to what someone telling you what it says. But right here, what I have in front of me, here it is. The Sun here in the UK. Sex robot craze sparks rise of digisexual men who will only sleep with dolls. All dolled up. The new high-tech sex dolls can speak, interact, and even stimulate orgasms. You know what? I'm going to read this article, but you may want to take your children if you don't think that they can handle stuff like this. But we talk plain over here, okay? By Felix Allen, 27 November 2017. All right, he goes in. The craze for sex robots will lead to a growing number of men whose only sexually and romantic relationships will be with dolls, academics say. And I agree with the way that women are behaving today. I can clearly see from a man's point of view and perspective why he doesn't want to deal with all that emotional roller coaster and rides. And then on the flip side, a woman said, well, I don't want to deal with all them emotion roller coaster and riding a man either. Well, hey, that's where we at today, isn't it? Because in this world, men, or let's say in this world, women outnumber men. I'm going to use conservative numbers here. Easily 3-1. And when you look at the advent of legalized sodomy and homosexuality, 4-1, that women, I'm telling you, 5-1 incarceration, 6-1 drugs and deadbeats, man, 7-1 the murder rate and war, 8-1 men just opting out of relationships with women in general. If I continue to keep going, I think about this long enough, it will be no problem for me to get to a conservative 11-1 that women are literally outnumbering men today. And so, in my humble opinion, a woman is in no position whatsoever at all to complain or whatever. Because when you look at 9-1, the court system rapes, strips, and robs a man, tries to take his manhood, his ego, his entire spirit today. Men are looking at this and say, you know what? It ain't worth it. It's just simply not worth it. And of course, anyway, let me go ahead and go on. All right. It goes on to say, So-called digisexuals will shun human partners in favor of a new kind of virtual reality porn and customizable robots able to speak and interact. Married engineer James said he has sex with his doll, April, 4 times a week and even takes her out on dinner dates. Now, we got to ask ourselves questions. Okay, I understand that many of you out there that come from the European perspective and European background have the opinion that polygyny, that would be the proper word to use. Or if a man has multiple wives, that in your opinion, you call it a sin, but you can't find it nowhere in the Bible. And if you can't find it nowhere in the Bible, then what? We got to ask ourselves something then, don't we? I tell you what, I'll be back here in just a second. I'm just going to process this. Got a UPS truck out there. Hold on. Okay, and of course I'm back. And I realize that we live in a world today where people take their philosophies, their religious traditions, ideologies, theologies, and ideals and opinions, assertions and assumptions, and they place them before the Word of God in order to affect, sway, and turn the minds of men who want to be biblically sound. But the Bible says in 1 John 3:4, and I'm not here to give you a biblical sermon, but I've got to state this according to public law 97-280, that the Bible is the law of God in the United States of America, and it should be setting precedents all the way across the board. So in case you don't know that, go check it out, look it up again. I know truth is stranger in this day and this society and time we live in, but according to 1 John 3:4, that sin is the transgression of the law. And if you can't find a law that defines sin in that area, then there is no transgression. And guess what? If a man is having sex with an inanimate object or a robot, then there's no sin. Whereas fornication, well, again, there's no word for fornication or called fornication in the law. And to commit whoredoms, you would have to prostitute yourself out. I realize that means you got many foreign doctrines that you ascribe to, that you constantly. Anyway, let me get back to this article because I just downloaded and I'm reading it to you right now. Okay, it goes on to say, now here we have an engineer that is married and has sex with his doll, and actually take her out to dinner 4 times a week. The warning comes in a study of the growing use of sex dolls, including at the world's first brothel staffed entirely by robots. Now, I didn't even know that there's a world's first brothel staffed entirely by robots. High-tech sex dolls with realistic silicone skin and the ability to flirt and even stimulate orgasms have become increasingly available. Psychotherapists, if that is a word, I mean, you can see it right there. Look at that word right there. Can you see it? I don't know if it's focusing in or not. God of mercy. Let me see that. It's right. Oh, I covered it up. Oh, yep. See it? Anyway, I don't know. Psychotherapists should be prepared for more clients participating in digitized sexualities, says the report by Ethic Research, Neil MacArthur and Marky Twist of the University of Manitoba. They write, there is no question that sex bots are coming. In other words, the reason why I'm doing this is because this particular, I'm reporting on this because it wasn't no more than a few weeks ago, including last month, that they said they're rolling these things out at the beginning of 2018. And you can buy these things, configure these things, all kind of upgrades and do whatever you want. And from a man's perspective and point of view, can you imagine being able to come home and not having to deal with a bunch of off-the-chains emotions, off-the-chains feelings, arguing, back-talking, disobedience, undermining, lying to you, swinging, women stepping out, committing adultery or fornication, spending all your money. And I mean, for a man point of view, and I know women get upset at this, but I'm telling you from a man point of view with all the counseling that I end up doing, both on the internet as well as natural counsel for people who constantly seek my opinion. This is a win-win situation for them. And again, I'm just laying it out. I'm just laying it out. All right. They write, there's no question that sex bots are coming. This is one of the sex dolls at the Barcelona brothel, staffed entirely by robots. High-tech dolls can be customized to create the buyer's ideal partner. Our view is that they will represent a different sort of sexual experience from what existing technologies offer. People will form an intense connection with their robot companions. These robots will be tailor-made to meet people's desires and will do things that human partners cannot or will not do. You know what? And I ain't even going to let our minds go any further from there, okay? For this reason, significant numbers of people will likely come to use robots as their primary mode of sexual experience. The Sex Bots Are Coming documentary is set to lift the lid on the growing trend. Some of the more realistic sex dolls cost up to 15,000 pounds. Many people will find, man, that's less than a little small car. I wonder if you have to pay notes on this. Okay, let me get back. All right, let me get back. Whoa. I wonder if they need oil changes. Or tune-ups. Stop it. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Okay. It's serious business. Back to serious business. Okay, I had to put that in there. Okay. All right. Woo. All right. Many people will find that their experiences with this technology become integral to their sexual identity, and some will prefer them to direct sexual interactions with humans. Sex doll technology has advanced in recent years as companies produce lifelike robots costing up to 15,000 pounds. Buyers can handpick features such as face, hair, and breast size. And the dolls are programmed to remember their owner's birthday and favorite films and music. Some can be made to feel warm like real flesh and stimulate an orgasm during sex. Another company in London has started selling Samantha, a high-tech sex doll who likes to be seduced, and could soon be mass-produced in Wales. Now notice, all this is in these European nations up here, all right? Last month, we told our sex robot creator, Sergi Santos, claimed regular romps with his dolls has spiced up his marriage. Let me see. Regular romps, meaning he's having a lot of sex with his dolls, and it has somehow spiced up his marriage. Last week, married engineer James revealed he is having an affair with a 5-foot sex doll who he takes on dinner dates, and his wife of 36 years doesn't mind. Samantha, the sex doll, interacts with creator Sergi Santos. Man, I tell you, have an affair. How can you have an affair with something that doesn't have a soul? It isn't real. Anyway, I think I've exhausted this. I just reported. I want to hear what you have to say on this. I'm going to the court of public opinion on this. What do you have to say?